Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. In this video tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate how to make this really pretty bib apron. It's got a fall themed fabric on it and I'm using border print fabric. And in a moment, I'm going to show you some examples of other types of border print fabric. I'll recommend what type of pattern you can buy, and I've even got a video to show you how to alter the pattern. This is just a very basic one pattern piece bib apron, and I'm using bias tape up around the edges at the top. This is so easy, you can't believe that. Why didn't you make one before? So let's get started. Here are some examples of directional print fabrics. So on this particular example, you see where it continually repeats itself. It has the little carts, then a couple of rows, sunflowers, leaves, carts, and it keeps repeating, and it's like that all the way across. So it's going this way. So when it's going this direction, you have to refold your fabric. For instance, down here, this is the selvage edges down there, and here's the folded line. This is how it is when it's on your bolt of fabric. Now, if you're interested in purchasing this fabric, it's called Thankful and Blessed by Charla Foltz from StudioEfabrics.net. I bought this at a quilt fabric shop in St. George. It's called the Sewing Center of Southern Utah. So let me put this one aside. Now, here's another one. This is the one that I have on right now. So it continually repeats. It's leaves, pumpkins, flowers, leaves, pumpkins, flowers. Now this is called Harvest by Timeless Treasures, if you're interested in this. And I also bought it at the Quilting Center in St. George, there in Utah. So let me show you some samples of another type of border directional fabric. So here's one right here. This would be at each end near the selvage edge, and then you would have all of this in between. So this is also would be good for an apron. You could have it going across the bottom, or if you wanted just across the bib. Now let me show you the one that I'm going to use for today. Isn't this cute? Now, I've had this fabric for 20 years. I ran across it and I thought, this is perfect. So I don't think you can get it. But there are other great prints out there, but I just love this. So this is what I'm going to use today. Now let's go over how you would fold your fabric. Almost every pattern company makes a basic bib apron. Now this one I bought about 5 years ago at Walmart, and Walmart carries a line of simplicity patterns that are just distributed through Walmart. And this was 97 cents. Well, I'm sure it's at least double that now. You could go to Walmart and see what they have in their pattern books, but also you could go to other stores like Joann's and find patterns there. Now I'm going to turn it over to the back so you can see what it looks like without having all kinds of pretty fabric on it. So here it is right here. So as you can see, it's a very basic, the bib is up here, and this wraps around the sides to the back. Now, here's two different ways that a pattern may ask you to lay it out. Now, they're going to tell you if you're using directional prints, stripes, plaids, those have to be matched. So that's why you need to pay close attention to how to lay it out. So for instance, on some of the fabric I showed you, in fact on all the examples, it was running with the direction of the selvage edges. So here's a selvage edge, here's a selvage edge. And the print was going this way. This is how it was for the bib apron that I have on. Some prints, some fabrics I should say, have stripes, going in another direction. So whatever you buy, you need to make sure you fold it in the correct way. So for instance, on this one, I would have to unfold my fabric and lay my pattern going this way. In other words, the bottom of my apron would be down here and the bib would be up in here somewhere. Now down here on this example, the fabric is folded and you would lay your fabric up on the fold line with the stripes going this way. So the bottom of your apron would be down here and then the bib would be up here. So let's take a look at how I've laid mine out. So here's my border. I want it at the bottom of the apron near the hem area. The selvage edge is just below it. So I need to fold it differently. Normally the folded edge would have been up here, but I'm going to unfold that and turn and fold it this way. Now because it's got a directional print, you need to make sure you match it as you fold. So you want it to be straight, otherwise your print is going to be crooked on your apron. So you want to make sure you line up both sides together and then smooth it out. So I have my pattern on top. Up here is my bib area. And down here where the border is, I've placed it almost to the selvage edge, the bottom of the pattern, because I want a little bit of the other part of the print with all the little pumpkins to be below it. So this border print pretty much covers most of the bottom part of the apron for me. I've also shortened the apron. I've folded it. So if you want to know more about customizing your pattern, I have a video that it will explain to you how to make a custom bib apron from a purchased pattern, and you can make this for any size individual. So if you have issues with getting patterns that fit you, check that video out. So I've laid it all out. Here's my folded edge right here. I've put these little weights on here. These are like washers, is that what they are? I think they're called washers. You can get them in the hardware stores. And these are pretty large. They work really, really well holding your pattern in place. So once you've got it all pinned down or weighted down, then you would go ahead and cut around all of the edges. I'm also lining this. So I'm using just plain fabric. You can use whatever fabric you want on the back, and go ahead and lay it out and cut the lining out. Right now you're looking at the back side of my fabric, the not so pretty side. Underneath is my lining, and it's just a plain color. And so the pretty side is against the lining here. And I've pinned this top edge. I've left the sides that go under the arms unpinned, and I began pinning over here, gone all the way around the corners and back up to the other side and stopped pinning here. So you want to stitch both of those pinned areas 1/4 inch seam. On your two lower corners, you want to cut little slits. So you're going to cut from the outside in up to the stitch line and cut little slits. This will make it lay a lot nicer when you lay it front side out. So right now do both lower curved corners. At one of your side openings, go in and begin turning it front side out. After turning it front side out, you can just reach in through one of your side openings and smooth out from the inside your curved corners. Then you want to press all of your edges flat. So you may have to kind of wiggle the fabric a little bit to get it to line up. So you're going to line it up around the bottom and side edges, and then also up here at the top. After pressing, you want to top stitch around the lower bottom edge of your apron, and you want to stay about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. This helps to hold your edges in place, and then also stitch up here across the top 1/8 of an inch from the edge. I'm using bias tape to finish off the apron, and I'm using extra wide double fold bias tape. And here's what it looks like. So when you take it out of the package, it's already folded up for you. You'll notice that on one side of it, let me turn it a little bit here, you'll notice that this edge does not come all the way over to the other edge. And you want it that way because when you slip the shorter side, this narrower width right here, that goes on top, and then the wider side goes underneath. So when you're stitching this down close to the edge here, your needle grabs this underneath piece. And I'm using Wright's bias tape. You can get it at Walmart or some Walmarts, and you can also get it at Joann Fabrics and Crafts. Go on the internet, it's available in many, many places. I'm going to use all of the bias tape that's in the package, and it's roughly 3 yards. Also, I recommend you just give it a light pressing because you're going to have all these little folded bumpy areas throughout the bias tape. So press it flat. Then bring the two ends together, and you're folding it in half. And then here's my folded end right here. And turn it to where that shorter width edge that I just went over, have it on top. Then you're going to take it and place it at the base of your neck, or behind you at the base of your neck. And then take your bib apron and place it up wherever you want it. Then take your ends of, take the bias tape as soon as I find it, and then take a clip and clip it on each side, and then do the same thing over here. So go ahead, either pin or use these little clips to fold that bias tape over your raw edge. Remember, the shorter width is on top. So you're pinning it up to here, and then go over to this side and pin or clip it over here. Then when you begin to stitch it, you're going to start over on this side and make sure that this isn't twisted, because you're going to have, again, the shorter width is on top. So stitch back and forth here across the end. Then stitch close to the edge all the way up to where it hits your fabric over here. And then stitch along the edge, and you have to remove the clips. You can't stitch over them. But stitch close to the edge all the way up through this way. Then continue around this part. Then come back over here and continue stitching all the way out through here, and then all the way to the end of this bias tape over here, and then stitch back and forth across the end. At each end of the bias tape, I tied a little knot, and you don't have to do that, but it just sort of adds a finished look to it. This is how it looks when it's all done. I think it's really, really pretty, and it's a lot of fun working with these border prints. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in other beginners sewing projects, check below your YouTube screen for those video links. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and go and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time, and happy sewing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click on the thumbs up button. Don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, click on that red subscribe button down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Don't forget to click on the bell. I'm Cheryl, and this is a lot of mayonnaise. See you next time, and happy sewing!